So guys, we've reached the point in our series on men of the Bible where we're now looking at the story of Abraham. And what an incredible story it is. Now imagine being Abraham for a minute. Imagine living in Hartley, Wintney. You're 75 and you've just retired. You've worked hard all of your life to accrue all of the position in society and creature comforts around you, and you're right ready to live out your remaining days enjoying the fruits of your labour. When all of a sudden you hear a very audible voice from God telling you to give all of that up and to journey into the desert place. I'm not going to speculate what that desert place would be for someone who lives in Hartley, Wintney, but that's a journey that you're going to go on where you're going to be suffering at times, and you're going to lack direction and vision for years and years. Now we, with the benefit of hindsight, know how incredibly that story worked out, but you'd be forgiven for feeling as though you'd made the wrong choice for a large part of that journey. Now fortunately for most of us, we're not called to that level of physical sacrifice, but I think we are called to challenge ourselves to step out of our comfort zone and to try things that are different. I was at a wedding reception recently and I got chatting to a very wealthy guy who works in fund management, and he started telling me a little bit about his life story. Now here's a guy who's been very successful and he had started to rely perhaps more on himself than he had on God, and as he admitted to me, he'd started to lose his faith in God even as he'd rested more and more on his own abilities. And then one day, like Abraham, he also heard an audible voice of God telling him to give up everything he had and to take his family and join a startup church in a new deprived area. And he did this, and that was an incredible sacrifice for him and for his family. But as he was telling me this story, this tough, strong, professional guy started welling up with very real tears in front of me, a stranger who he'd only just met. And it was the emotion in his story that told me more about the purpose, the renewed purpose that he'd found in his life since making this change and accepting the challenge from God than any of the words that he was using could have explained. Now both of these guys, both Abraham and the wedding guy, offer an example to us about how we can find more purpose in life if we just choose to do something different, if we just choose to challenge ourselves. Both of these guys found that by journeying through the desert, we can see the stars more clearly.